Hillary, you had alluded to some of the interviews that you do on a regular basis, and we're talking about the different types of communication for specific engineers. But if we were getting into the buying cycle itself, are you gearing specific messages during the buying cycle? And if so, how do you go about creating that? And then, of course, what type of expectations, again, back to that ROI discussion, what type of expectations do you have?
Sure. You'll be shocked because we actually use interviews for the buying cycle as well. And we create buyer personas around the buyer stage so that as we're creating content for those different stages, we can look at those buyer personas. So if it's awareness, Al, or if it's, purchase, Paul, or whoever it might be, we know what type of content they're looking for at that phase of the process. And we literally interview engineers and we say, okay, you're just getting started, you're researching something, what are the types of content that you look at and what channels do you use to do that? And then through those interviews, we gather that information and incorporate it into our marketing campaigns.
Okay, excellent. I want to talk a little bit about trade shows. I know they're still a big part of the industry. We talked about it a little bit earlier in our presentation with as much as you do digital, and even digital face-to-face with some of the webcasts, they're still a big part of the industry. How do you utilize them? Has it changed? My guess is yes, over the last few years. And how do you really get the most out of it? Sarah, do you want to start with you guys?
With Red Campaign's help, we started doing more active inviting to come see us and really targeting who we want to bring into the trade shows, as opposed to just seeing the same faces year after year. But there is that unquantifiable aspect that if we're not there, there's going to be a gap where we should have been, and the customers will see that and wonder why we weren't there that year. So it's sort of that unmeasurable, you go because we have to be a face, and then you're hoping to meet some new people and shake hands with people you know.
Is it worth it? Is it worth the money?
As a 1 year ROI, we usually at least aim to break even, and then in a 2 year, we hope to make 200%.
Okay. All right.
And we have, for the most part, it's a good measurement for us. We're pretty small, but that's how we measure.
Jeff, how about the team at ATS?
Sure. As I mentioned, we do 10 or 11 a year. The philosophy, I think, changed over the past couple of years. Typically, we wouldn't do a show unless we could speak at it. So unless we can have somebody in a panel, or if we have one of our leaders who could maybe give a keynote or have a larger presence there. But it also affords us the opportunity to work with the press for the event. So we have our PR agency that we use and have for many, many years. So we have a weekly call with them. So they've got our full trade show slate. So we're doing pitching beforehand, setting up meetings after, doing follow-up with it. We also bake it into our marketing campaigns calendar. So if you look at our campaign calendar, sure, we have campaigns going out to specific geographies. We have campaigns going to specific vertical markets or buyer personas, but we also have campaigns just for the trade shows and kind of pushing what we're doing there. So typically, before, even if it was a low cost of entry, we wouldn't just go in and throw up a booth. Now, we really, unless we're participating in almost a 360 view, we wouldn't even choose to do it.
Okay. Is it working? Are you able to speak at all?
Yeah. If it wasn't working, we wouldn't be doing it. As I said, we collect all the data from these. We break it down to a cost per lead. And I think somebody had a slide up here before, the need to press the flesh. And I think people need that. In most of our sales force, we've got about 35 sales reps around the U.S. They're remote. So they're always looking to get out to industry events and to be there. We might not even be sponsoring it, but we might have 3 or 4 people there kind of roaming the event and, networking and going to the receptions and just kind of, preaching what we can do for our customers.
Luis?
Yeah, I think that it's also, in addition to being part of the event as an exhibitor to the event, sometimes, you can repurpose your content also to have a memorable presence in the event, even though you're not exhibiting. People might just see you there, see you speaking there. You might have a couple papers that you basically reuse from whatever you had on a printed magazine, a publication, or you might have some of your bloggers go into an industry event and that makes it memorable. So, obviously, with the budgets being, heavily watched, you have to be picky about the events you want to participate on a global setting. So sometimes you just pick the right ones, the type of, big, how you want to represent your brand, but at the same time you maintain your presence in those smaller trade events by just selecting what kind of material you're going to be presenting, how you're going to be, making a stand, even if you're not